Today I'm going to do dividing polynomials with synthetic division and synthetic substitution. For a lot of people, synthetic division is easier than long division. Long division will work for everything, and synthetic division will not work for everything. So it's kind of a special case, and so you won't always use synthetic division. But for a lot of people, it's a lot easier. So these are the problems that we're going to do, okay? So the first one that I'm going to work out for you guys right here is, and I'm going to tell you what synthetic division means, okay? For synthetic division, we have to make sure that they are in standard form, and that our terms are there's no number in front of your x. So like this is a special case where I can't do it using synthetic division right now. But what I could do is get the x by itself, which I would do by factoring out a 2. So this is the same thing as 2 times this, and then I'm going to factor out a 2 of this guy as well. And the reason that I have to do that is, think of this as a fraction. If it's a fraction, it's going to be these 2's cancel out. So now I can use synthetic division, okay? So let me show you how to do synthetic division. It has to be an x, and you have to have a number there, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to line up our coefficients all the way across the top for every value. So x squared I have 1, x I have 5, and the constant I have 4. I'm going to put a little box over here, and I'm going to put this with the opposite sign, -1, or what makes this equal to 0, okay? With synthetic division, your first number always comes down. So the 1 comes down, I multiply 1 times -1, which is -1, and then I add down 4 plus -1, or sorry, 5 plus -1 is 4. Now I multiply, 4 times -1 is -4, and I add down 0. This 0 right here means that I don't have a remainder. We're going to put our variables back in with one less exponent. So this one started x squared, so now it's going to be x plus 4. This would be the remainder, but there's nothing there. So the solution to this is x plus 4. And that's the answer, okay? I'll do a couple more of those guys. So if I have x to the third plus 2x squared minus x minus 2 divided by x plus 2. I'm going to set up all of my coefficients right here. There's 1, 2, -1, -2. I'm going to put the opposite sign of this, bring down my first term, and multiply, add these together, and multiply, add these together, and multiply, add these together. It's going to be the exponent 1 less, so it's going to be squared, plus 0x, minus 1, plus there's no remainder. So 0x, I don't need to put that. Really, this is x squared minus 1. That's the answer. And that's as simple as it is, okay? See if I can find a little bit of a harder one. So we're still going to do the same thing. We're going to list these out, the numbers, the coefficients, 2, 13, -8. It's really important that you keep the sign, and then this with the opposite sign. The first number comes down, and then I multiply, add down, and then I multiply, add down. So this time I have a remainder. My exponent is going to start 1 less. And since this is a minus, I'm not going to put a plus in here, but you can. The remainder is over what you divided by, just like on long division. So our answer is going to be 2x plus 14 minus 1 over x minus 1/2. And that's the answer, okay? Slightly harder one, okay? Okay, couple of things. The first thing is that this is not in standard form. So I'm going to rewrite it in standard form, which means the x to the third has to be come before the x squared. Second thing is I'm missing a couple x's. I don't have an x to the fourth, so I have plus 0x to the fourth. I don't have an x, so I have plus 0x. I need all of them. Even if there wasn't a constant, I would need a plus 0 in there. So when I write my coefficients, it's going to be 6, 0, -4, -2, 0, and 7. I need all of them, even the coefficient. The opposite sign comes down here. Your first number comes down, and then you multiply, add 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 down. So this is going to be a remainder right here. Your variable starts one less, so this is going to be x to the fourth plus x to the third plus x squared plus x plus the constant plus the remainder over what you divided by. So my answer would be 6x to the fourth plus 12x to the third plus 20x squared plus 38x plus 76 plus 159 over x minus 2. And that's it. If they ask you to do synthetic substitution, now what that looks like is something like this. They're giving you the function rule, and they say for some value. What that means is you're going to use this value as what you're dividing by. That goes right there. I'm still going to write out all of my coefficients. So 3, 2, 1, 0. I'm not missing anything. 3, -5, -1, 2. First number comes down, and then you multiply, add them together, and then you multiply, add them together. Did I do that right? I did do that right. Okay. And then you multiply. So this is going to be 6 over 3 minus 1 over 3 is going to be 5 over 3. So what this is really asking you for is what is your remainder when you plug this guy in. So when you're doing synthetic substitution, you're going to say p of -1/3, which is what we put in, equals the remainder, 5/3. So what you're looking for is the remainder. If there were no remainder, you would put 0. I'll do another example of this, okay? So it'll say p of x equals 25x squared minus 16 for x equals 4/5. So 4/5 is what I'm dividing by. I need to put all of my numbers. I'm missing the x, so it's going to be 25, 0, and -16. Your first number always comes down, and then I multiply. It's going to be 20. Add them together, and then you multiply, which is going to be 16. Add them together. So since we got a remainder of 0, we would say p of 4/5 equals 0. And that's all that you're trying to do on this guy right here.